Dr. Manika Kohli, resource person for today. Dear colleagues and students, webinar on converting prototype into a startup. To start with the brief introduction of college and IIC at MCM. MCM DAV College for Women, an institution that has been the portal for quality education right from its inception in 1968, established in the memory of Justice Meherchand Mahajan. MCM has re-accredited with an A grade from NAC and has been ranked as one of the topmost college of the region for the last 3 consecutive years by reputed national periodicals like India Today and The Week. MCM is the only college in the region to get the Star Status Award from the Government of India, which has helped the college towards giant progressive leaps in the field of science. College has also got several awards for its Swachhta related initiatives. Under the able guidance of Dr. Nisha Bhargava, IIC was established in the college in 2018, and I feel proud to share that IIC at MCM have traveled a lesser known path with confidence with its active participation in all the activities suggested by Ministry of Education and Innovation Cell. Students are also encouraged to participate in hackathons and toykathons. Informative webinars, workshops, and expert talks are regularly organized to inculcate culture of innovation among students. I also feel proud to share that under the able guidance of Principal Dr. Nisha Bhargava, we have earned 4-star rating for IIC 2.0 and IIC 3.0 for 2023. And more than 15 faculty members of IIC are innovation ambassadors after successfully completing their training. College has a well-drafted innovation and startup policy to provide support to students and alumni on enterprises or startups. College also encourages such students to submit their business proposals and avail the financial support to become successful entrepreneurs. Now I introduce resource person of the webinar cum workshop, Dr. Manika Kohli. She is assistant professor in commerce. She is also an innovation ambassador of MIC. She has many nationals and international research papers to her credit. She has authored and co-authored 2 books on commerce and management. She is very active member of IIC at MCM. I also take proud privilege to welcome our worthy and multi-talented principal, Dr. Nisha Bhargava, at this webinar. Principal Ma'am, Dr. Nisha Bhargava has been a pillar of strength for IIC and has been giving her valuable inputs for all the innovation-related activities of IIC. I would now request Madam Principal to say a few words for motivating the participating students and sharing her views with the audience. Madam Principal, I request Madam Principal to express her views.
Thank you, Dr. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Dr. Manika Kohli, Dr. Indu Arora, IIC Vice President, Dr. Neetu, Convener, and Dr. Sandeep, Coordinator of IIC. आज का इनोवेशन काउंसिल का जो वक्तव्य है, इसका टॉपिक है कन्वर्टिंग प्रोटोटाइप और इनोवेशन इनटू ए स्टार्टअप। और आज की वक्ता हैं हमारी अपनी जानी पहचानी डॉक्टर मनिका कोहली, जो समय समय पर आईआईसी के लेक्चर्स देती रहती हैं।
थैंक यू।
इनके आज के वक्तव्य से हमारे बच्चों को ये जानकारी दी जाएगी कि किस तरह से एक प्रोटोटाइप बनाया जाता है और उस प्रोटोटाइप को बनाना एक छोटा उद्यम या स्टार्टअप शुरू करने के लिए कितना ज़रूरी है। इसके साथ ही बच्चों को ये भी पता चलेगा कि प्रोटोटाइप की वैलिडेशन कितनी ज़रूरी है, ताकि जो स्टार्टअप या छोटा उद्यम शुरू किया जा रहा है उसके लिए इन्वेस्टर्स मिल सके और उसे मूर्त रूप दिया जा सके। भारत की शिक्षा पद्धति और नई शिक्षा नीति को ध्यान में रखते हुए आज का ये वक्तव्य बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। हमारा जो डेमोग्राफिक बोनस है या जिसको हम जनांकिकीय लाभ कह सकते हैं, उसको देखते हुए तथा ये जानते हुए कि भारत में डिग्रीधारियों की संख्या बहुत ज़्यादा है, लेकिन उनको जिस अनुपात में डिग्रियां प्राप्त होती हैं उस अनुपात में उनको रोजगार प्राप्त नहीं होता है। तो इसलिए क्योंकि हमारी जो शिक्षा प्रणाली है वो रोजगार को बढ़ाने में उतना ज़्यादा उसका रोल नहीं है, इस चीज़ को देखते हुए हमें इस तरह के छोटे उद्योगों को उत्साहित करना चाहिए, ताकि हमारा जो पढ़ा लिखा युवा वर्ग है उनको लाभप्रद रोजगार मिल सके और स्वरोजगार मिल सके। इसलिए मैं समझती हूँ कि आज का जो डॉक्टर मनिका कोहली का ये वक्तव्य है, ये हमारे विद्यार्थियों को ना सिर्फ स्टार्टअप शुरू करने की प्रेरणा देगा, बल्कि उनको इसके लिए तैयार भी करेगा ताकि वह कुशल उद्यमी बन सके। सो मैं एक बार फिर डॉक्टर मनिका जो हैं उनको धन्यवाद करती हूँ कि वो हमारे बच्चों को इनोवेशन से रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज़ में भाग लेने के लिए, इनोवेशन करने के लिए प्रेरित करती रहती हैं अपने वक्तव्यों के द्वारा। और डॉक्टर इंदु अरोड़ा की देखरेख में इनोवेशन काउंसिल बहुत अच्छा कार्य कर रहा है। 1 स्टार से शुरू हुआ था इनोवेशन काउंसिल हमारा, और 4 स्टार्स इसको ऑलरेडी मिल चुके हैं और आगे बढ़ने की हम आशा रखते हैं। तो डॉक्टर नीतू इसमें बहुत अच्छा काम कर रही हैं, डॉक्टर संदीप भी बहुत अच्छा काम कर रही हैं। आप सबका मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करती हूँ, और विद्यार्थियों को मैं अपनी बेस्ट विशेस देती हूँ कि ये जो एक्टिविटीज करवाता है इनोवेशन काउंसिल, इनमें बढ़ चढ़ कर भाग ले। अगर वो एक्चुअल में इनोवेशन करना चाहते हैं या स्टार्टअप शुरू करना चाहते हैं, तो उन्हें इन वक्तव्यों में जो भी बताया जाता है उसको समझना और उसे अडॉप्ट करना बहुत जरूरी है। सो आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, ma'am. I wholeheartedly extend warm thanks to you. Such a beautiful introduction you have given to the topic. So I hope the students will learn a lot from today's session. And thank you for your blessings and support, Principal ma'am, Indu ma'am, and Neetu ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your inspiring words. Now I take the opportunity to welcome our resource person, Dr. Manika Kohli, and I request her to begin with this webinar. Platform is all yours, ma'am.
इंदु एक फोटो ले लो, ग्रुप फोटो पहले ले लो, मैं कहती हूँ।
हाँ जी मैम, yes. Students, please turn on your cameras. Okay. Ma'am, it is done.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Manika, now you start with the session.
Yes, ma'am. I'll just share my presentation with you, students. Please confirm if it is visible and I'm clearly audible, girls.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So the topic for today is how we convert a prototype or a model into a startup. So many a times we have ideas, but to convert them into a reality, into a workable model and a business unit, we need some guidance and assistance. So today's session will be very helpful for you to learn that how we can convert this idea into a startup. So if we have an idea, how we should go about it. So basically we'll be talking about what a prototype is, how do we validate a prototype, and how we convert this prototype into a startup. So starting from the startup journey, the idea. So all of us have good ideas. We work on our ideas, and we already have many a times discussed that what is the meaning, what is the benefit of an idea. An idea is worth $1 million. If we exchange an idea for an idea, both of us will have 2 ideas each. So that's the beauty of an idea. So converting this idea into a prototype. Prototype would be a workable model where functionality is also there. So today we learn the journey of how we can convert this idea into a working model. Then moving on to a working model, to a minimum viable product, obtaining the funding, and ultimately converting it into a startup. So let's start. So what is a prototype? Yes, can I get answer from any student? What do we mean by a prototype? Yes. ओके देख के या पीपीटी पे देख के या अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग से कैन एनीबडी टेल मी व्हाट इज अ प्रोटोटाइप?
Ma'am, we can say that prototype is basically a business model which would summarize that what would
Okay.
my idea would be, what would my
Okay.
business is.
Okay, what my business would be. So what my business would be an idea, but if I add functionality feature to this, then it will become a prototype. Prototype is basically a model. ठीक है, जब भी आप एक बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने वाले हो उससे पहले आप अपने बिजनेस का एक मॉडल बनाते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू वांट टू स्टार्ट एन ऐप. Okay, first you design an app on a pen and paper, then you move forward, you take the help of the experts and design the app, and further you see the functionality of this app and then proceed for full launch. So it's not at first that you start with the full blown model, but there are steps which you follow to ultimately start your venture. So prototype, so I'll quickly share a video with you. I hope you're all aware, and all of us have many a time seen this. आप सबने शार्क टैंक देखा है?
Yes, ma'am.
देखा है ना?
Yes.
उसमें से ही मैं आपको एक वीडियो दिखा रही हूँ, a very short clip, okay, which will tell you the meaning of a prototype just to begin with. Okay, we have further examples also, but I hope you'll enjoy this one. So just let me know if you are able to hear and see the video. शार्क टैंक सबने देखा है ना?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, it is not. It's not audible.
So is it not audible?
No, ma'am.
No,
I'll
ma'am.
share the link. I'll share the link. You can all see. So it was by one of the sharks. He was explaining that what is the meaning of a prototype. आपने शायद अपना कैमरा अपना अपना साउंड सिस्टम ऑन नहीं किया हो, शायद इसलिए आपको नहीं सुन रहा होगा. Can any other student confirm if it is audible or not?
No, ma'am.
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just share the link, video link with you. You can see it later at your convenience. Okay, so we'll move on. Basically, prototype क्या है? एक working model है हमारे product का, ठीक है? So prototype क्या करता है? Basically हमें ये सिखाता है कि एक्चुअल में क्या फ्लॉज हैं हमारे प्रोडक्ट के, हमारे इनोवेशन के. ठीक है, सपोज आपने एक ऐप बना दिया. अब वो ऐप जब यूजर चला रहा है, सो मे बी द यूजर इज नॉट सो savvy and it has various features which should not be there. It has some features which should be eliminated, some which should be added. तो इससे क्या होता है कि अगर हम फुल ब्लोन लॉन्च एक बार में ही कर दें तो यूजर के लिए बड़ा मुश्किल है. सो आपका प्रोटोटाइप क्या करेगा? लेट अस सी व्हाट द प्रोटोटाइप विल डू. So prototype will basically tell you what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses of your business, of your idea. Your It will give you a workable model. ठीक है, a workable model that means जहाँ पे वो चल रहा हो. सपोज आपने एक बॉटल बनाई, ठीक है, अब बॉटल में हम प्रोटोटाइप में क्या टेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि क्या वो बॉटल यूजफुल है. ठीक है, whether you can have water stays warm in that bottle or not, water remains cold in that bottle or not. तो प्रोटोटाइप क्या है? एक फंक्शनिंग के साथ एक प्रोडक्ट है, एक मॉडल है जो हम फर्दर जिसका प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन करने वाले हैं. So prototype is basically more than just a design. It has features like, it has features of functionality also. It has features of functionality. It is not just a design, it has functionality feature also. So you can all see the picture on the screen. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is an example of Kriya Labs, which is a venture which was started by three students of IIT Delhi. This venture they started in the incubator of IIT Delhi. They have started with the help of IIT Delhi. So what they did was they used rice stubble, the remains after the rice harvest is cut. After that, whatever is residue is generally burnt, okay, which causes pollution also. But what they have thought is, their idea was to use this rice stubble into a biodegradable product so that it's good for the environment, as well as it makes a product which is eco-friendly also. So अब ये जो rice stubble आप इसके हाथ में, you can see this rice stubble, he's actually using a washing machine to wash this rice stubble. And further, as you can see in the next picture, this person is boiling this rice stubble which has been washed in the washing machine in a steam cooker. Okay, so this uh, this you can clearly make out that दिस इज अ वर्किंग मॉडल. इसे हम प्रोटोटाइप कहते हैं. प्रोटोटाइप ये मॉडल है. जैसे आपने घर में वॉशिंग मशीन का यूज किया, राइस कुकर का यूज किया बॉईल करने के लिए, ये देखने के लिए कि क्या ये एक्चुअली वर्केबल होगा या नहीं. ठीक है. सो दिस is a very innovative venture which was started by students of IIT Delhi. Just to I am using these examples just to make you feel that you can also do this. Okay, so ये देखिए क्रिया लैब्स का एग्जाम्पल है विच आई वॉज जस्ट डिस्कसिंग विद यू, द फोटो विच आई जस्ट शोन. ये क्या करते हैं, दे मेक बायोडिग्रेडेबल टेबल वेयर, प्लेट्स, cups, plates and all these. ठीक है. So what they use rice straw to make these cups and paper plates. Rice straw or rice stubble, which is a residue from rice harvest. Okay, this is a waste and it will actually cause pollution, but such initiative, it reduces pollution also and it results into production of a product which is very helpful and eco-friendly also. So आप देख सकते हैं कितना अच्छा इनका. You can visit this website also. So this is one initiative towards the society also. And जो पंजाब हरियाणा के farmers हैं जिनके पास they burn the rice stubble, the residue which is there, and it causes a lot of pollution. It causes damage to the health of people in Delhi NCR region. It also causes harm to the health of the families of those farmers. So it is a win-win situation, because these people from Kriya Labs, what they do is they buy the rice residue from the farmers and they use it for making biodegradable paper plates. So it is a win-win situation for the farmers also and for the company also. So such ideas are highly recommended. ठीक है, इसका हमने अभी प्रोटोटाइप देखा. So moving on to the journey of a prototype, how do we reach to make a prototype? First we have an idea. We'll first हम आइडिया को कहीं स्केच बनाएंगे, है ना, कहीं उसका डायग्राम बनाएंगे, उसके बाद हम एक उसका वर्किंग फ्रेम बनाएंगे. जस्ट टू लेट यू नो, दीज डेज मेकिंग एन ऐप और वेबसाइट इज वेरी easy. There are templates. I'll just discuss with you that there are websites which help making those templates and apps. So you can, just by paying a minimum fee, you can make your own website, you can make your own app. You just need to have an idea. But to reach at that point, you need to first draw sketches. Wireframes are also, sketches and rough diagrams. Mockups are, I'll just show the picture, it will be clearer. ये आपका wireframe है first picture में जो आपको नजर आ रहा है, जो आप पेंसिल पेन लेके कॉपी पे बनाते हैं. ठीक है. उसके बाद a little moderation would be your mockup, where you design the page as you want it to look, and the prototype would be a functional model of this app. For example, Fredwin is the app that we are talking about here. So app designing, जहाँ पे आप इसके features test कर रहे हैं, वो functional model आप बना रहे हैं, that is your prototype. Now, example of a prototype, as you can see, this is an app of a financial service website. So first, as I said, you'll draw a rough sketch wherein you have the beginning page. So आपको ये पता लग जाएगा कि आपके pages किस तरह जाने चाहिए. ठीक है. जैसे कि in the first page, you can see that there is the login, sign in, all these options will be there. In the second page, as you can see, further, other record, other details are asked, and third page किस तरह क्या क्या जाएगा, fourth page पे calculator आएगा. तो इस तरह से पहले आप एक डिजाइन करते हैं, उसके बाद आप एक ऐप डिजाइन करते हैं. Now the students will ask कि how will we go about designing an app? That is a very difficult thing. Yes, students, is that a difficult thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, but how can we make it easy? How can we make it easy? Anybody? तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं, आजकल बहुत एक्सपर्ट्स हैं. I'll just guide you how we can go about making it easier. These days there are experts who help us. We just need to have a perception of what we want to do. हमें ये क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए कि हम करना क्या चाहते हैं. ठीक है, so let us see how we can take help. अब जैसे आपको स्टे होम ऐप दिख रहा है, तो आपके पास ये आइडिया था दैट यू कैन स्टार्ट एन ऐप वेयर इन इफ समबडी, जैसे कोविड के टाइम पे लोग ज्यादा घर पे रहते थे, सो पीपल सच एप्स यू नो दे कैन मॉनिटर दैट व्हाट आर देयर डेली एक्टिविटीज, हाउ कैन दे कीप देमसेल्व्स इंडल्ज्ड. So all these pages you can design yourself, and thereafter you can take help of an expert or a website. There are websites like Fiverr, Shopify, okay, which help you, assist you to make your apps and websites. Okay, let us see. I have examples for that also. Now this is a prototype of a robotic arm. Can you see? First I'm just discussing prototypes with you, models, working models, then we'll come to the thing that how can we do about actually developing them. So the first thing, as you can see on the screen, is रोबोटिक आर्म. ये एक प्रोटोटाइप है, एक मॉडल है. पैक के कुछ बच्चों ने ये मॉडल बनाया है. आई हैपन टू नो one of the students who was making, so I took this photograph and content from him. So you can see that this is the arm portion. अब जैसे कोई भी सामान होता है जो बहुत heavy होता है, which a normal human arm cannot pick, so such robotic arms are being designed for doing this work. So as you can see, this is the shoulder portion, this is the elbow portion here, and this is the hand portion of the prototype. So how beautifully they have developed this working model. As you can see, these are sensors here, and this is the model. Now this is the base, these are the sensors, and this is the whole robotic arm functional model. अब ये सारे आपके जो gadgets, बैटरीज लगाई हैं ताकि ये सेंसर्स काम करें. ठीक है, ये पिक करने के लिए है, ये आपकी एल्बो मूवमेंट, ये शोल्डर मूवमेंट के लिए है. तो अब आप कहोगे ये तो इंजीनियरिंग का है, वी कांट डू दिस, है ना. यू माइट फील दैट दिस इज नॉट आवर कप ऑफ टी, but that's not the case. As I said, these days just to have an idea is sufficient. Okay, how you develop that idea, there is a lot of help for that. We'll discuss in further slides. So now this is another example of Apple computers, how it looked when it was first launched in 1976. इस तरह का कीबोर्ड था एप्पल कंप्यूटर्स का. आप देख सकते हो आज कैसा है. ठीक है, ये एक प्रोटोटाइप है एप्पल कंप्यूटर्स के कीबोर्ड का. Another, so this here you can see this picture. This is a prototype of a mouse when it was first invented. I'm just showing you to develop your interest, so as to you know that you know आज जो हम प्रोडक्ट्स यूज कर रहे हैं वो कैसे स्टार्ट हुए थे. वो भी कहीं से स्टार्ट हुए होंगे. जैसा आज माउस दिखता है, क्या वो वैसा ही स्टार्ट हुआ था? नो, इट जस्ट हैड टू व्हील्स अंडर दिस. एज यू कैन सी, दीज आर द टू व्हील्स and a button in the, you see, this is the button to click. Okay, so it was a very basic mouse which was first invented in early 1960s by Angel Bard, who's also called the father of the mouse. Okay, so it's important that we develop a prototype, and it is equally important that we validate that prototype. So after creating a prototype, testing it and getting the feedback is very important. For example, you develop an app, okay, and you do it full scale launch without testing it on your friends, relatives, without gathering the feedback. So that will be a futile exercise, because that is going to waste the resources. So what is required is, it is required that when you develop an app or any model, any prototype, any product, it is required that you first test it. Okay, you will test it, and then you will know the flaws of that prototype, and then you will improve it, and then further you will develop it, give it a full scale launch. So after creating the prototype, test it, gather feedback, and then create a new and improved version of your idea, and that is how you improve. Like we just saw the example of a mouse. Okay, so a prototype is not the final version, but it is close to the final version. What feature we must have in a prototype? What feature we must have in a prototype?
And that it works efficiently and like it is in objective with our business only.
Yes, it works efficiently. तो एक फंक्शनैलिटी का जो फीचर है, फंक्शनैलिटी का जो फीचर है वो प्रोटोटाइप में जरूर होना चाहिए. दिस इज a very important feature in a prototype which differentiates a prototype from a basic sketch. ठीक है, आप एक sketch बना लेते हो, अब उसमें फंक्शनिंग चेक नहीं हो रही. ठीक है, सो आपने शार्क टैंक सबने देखा. ठीक है, शार्क टैंक में आइडिया में कब इन्वेस्ट करते थे इन्वेस्टर्स? व्हेन डिड द शार्क्स इन्वेस्ट इन द आइडिया? Yes, anybody?
Ma'am, when they found that the idea is a unique one and
Okay.
there is some growth opportunity in
Yes,
further.
it is unique. There is growth. It is earning some revenue, and the idea, the model, it is workable. It is working. ठीक है. So ये सब देख के कोई भी investor आपके idea में invest करेगा. So prototype is very important in the sense that if you want to raise investment, if you want to, sell your idea, then prototype building is very important. So a prototype is not the final version and it is close to the final version. Okay, so product validation is very important. Like principal ma'am also just told us that validating that prototype is very important. That testing, ठीक है, हमने एक मॉडल तो बना लिया पर उसको टेस्ट करना, उसको वैलिडेट करना is very important. So whether remote or in person, it should be made sure that the right problem is taken up in the right way. So it is unlikely that you will manage to do it first time perfectly, but you will get it right once you do it again and again. कोई भी काम में हम अच्छे कब होते हैं? एक बार करते हैं, गलती होती है. The next time we do it in a better way. The third time in a much better way. So as we go on doing the same thing, we improve it. So similarly, if I develop the model, test it again and again, then I'll develop a perfect product. So that is iterations and arriving at the right product. Okay, right product which we desire to make. So how do we validate? This is the validation process, as you can see on the screen. So validation. So first is, अगर आपका product कोई problem ही नहीं solve कर रहा, then it is of no use. It is ultimately, it has to solve some problem. For example, if I make a water bottle, but it is not keeping the water hot, if I want to have hot water, so what is the use of that water bottle? So similarly, whatever problem that you have undertaken, it should solve some problem, some area which is uncatered has to be served by that product which you are developing. So let's see, validating the problem. How do we validate? Now we have to identify a problem which maybe nobody has identified, or there is a gap. ठीक है, अब जैसे आपको ये स्क्रीन पे एक वाटर रिमाइंडर ऐप दिख रहा है. सो आप लोग बचपन से पानी कब पीते हो? यस यस, कैन एनीबडी आंसर? जैस्मिन, आप बताओ. Pinakshi?
Ma'am, when we feel thirsty.
When you feel thirsty, then you will have water, right? Everybody agrees with me. So this app, I don't know why they have developed this water reminder app. So what use does this serve? When the body will feel, अपने आप ही आप पानी पी लोगे. ठीक है? So such problem, whenever you target a problem which is ill defined, then your product or app or service is not it will not do that well. ठीक है, तो आप क्या करो, प्रॉब्लम को ठीक से आइडेंटिफाई करो. अब ये जो ऐप है, ये इसके रिव्यूज भी अच्छे नहीं थे, एंड इट डिड नॉट हैव, पीपल वर डिससैटिस्फाइड विद दिस ऐप. ठीक है, क्योंकि ये प्रॉब्लम ही ऐसी है जो कि एक्चुअल में प्रॉब्लम है ही नहीं, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट इज वैलिडेटिंग द मार्केट। हाउ डू वी गो अबाउट वैलिडेटिंग द मार्केट? सो मार्केट आइडेंटिफाई करना, जिस मार्केट में आप एंटर कर रहे हो, इज इट द राइट मार्केट, इज इट द राइट एरिया दैट वी आर केटरिंग टू। फॉर इंस्टेंस, now need out knots, can you see this is a prototype website which has been developed using Shopify. Again, I happen to know this student personally, so I asked to give me this. अब ये देखो Shopify का आपको साइन दिख रहा है ना, तो ये वेबसाइट जो क्रिएट किया है ये बेसिक प्रोटोटाइप वेबसाइट ही है. So this is actually a prototype website. Just to know what are the people, are people, is the market इंटरेस्टेड इन दिस आइडिया, नीड आउट नॉट्स, ठीक है, क्या है ये मसाजिंग करने के लिए है, कुछ सर्वाइकल पेन्स के लिए है. तो ये वेबसाइट एक प्रोटोटाइप वेबसाइट होती है जहाँ एक बेसिक वेबसाइट है विद मिनिमम फंक्शनैलिटी. बेसिकली देयर आर टेम्पलेट्स इन ऑन वेबसाइट्स लाइक शॉपिफाई एंड फाइवर, ठीक है. ये टेम्पलेट्स यूज करके आपकी जो भी रिक्वायर्ड वेबसाइट है वो डिजाइन कर सकते हो. ऑल्सो इट इज एन ऑप्शन टू take help from the experts is also available there. So as you can see on this website, need out knots. अब ये एक basic एक, this is one page website where the need for the product, how, the working of the product is given. You can also order yours. This option is there. Now the price range has also been given. The payment option is also given. Email updates, sign up for that means the basic details, contacting details, and taking the perception of the respondents that whether they are interested in this product or not. After making the website, what was done? The Google ads pattern was studied, as you can see on the screen. So Google ads say that impressions, that means 3660, okay, 3.66k viewers viewed this, but only 119 out of them clicked it, ठीक है. तो ये एड्स का पैटर्न हमें ये दिखा रहा है कि मार्केट ने इस प्रोडक्ट को इतना एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया, बिकॉज इम्प्रेशंस मीन्स दैट how many people saw it, and clicks means how many actually went on to click it and see the website. So it is very less, so which shows that it is not a good idea, and ultimately this prototype was scrapped, ठीक है. सो दिस इज एन एग्जाम्पल. हमने कई वर्किंग प्रोटोटाइप्स माउस का किया, एप्पल कंप्यूटर्स का देखा, क्रिया लैब्स का देखा. वहां पे वो जो प्रोटोटाइप उन्होंने डेवलप किए, दे वेंट ऑन टू बिकम एक्चुअल स्टार्टअप्स. बट हियर दिस एग्जाम्पल इज अ फेल्ड एग्जाम्पल. सो इट इज ऑल्सो, दिस इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू डिस्कस so that you know that how, you know, what all we should not do. Next is validating the product. Now after validating the market, now you validate the product, okay. Once you know that the market is right, then you go on to validate the product. How do we go about doing it? For example, see, as you can see here, अब ये क्या है, ये एक वर्किंग मॉडल है. एक सिटी जो आपके टाउनशिप्स होती है ना, सोसाइटीज होती हैं, उसका वर्किंग मॉडल है. अब आप जो सोसाइटीज में रहते हो, जो आर्किटेक्ट्स हैं, जो बिल्डर्स हैं, वो भी एक मॉडल बनाते हैं. ऐसे ही तो नहीं इतनी बड़ी सोसाइटी बना देते. सो दिस, एज यू कैन सी, द लाइट्स आर, ये जो मिनिएचर township है, miniature buildings हैं, the lights are also working, they have planted the trees, they have the cars are there, the cars are running also, ये छोटी छोटी बैटरी वाली cars हैं, the street lights are also on, as you can see. So it is very interesting to see that how, before building the whole township or a society, this working model is made. This is also a working prototype of a belt for visually impaired. See, using cardboard and basic sensors, it has been made. So this belt is tied to a person who is visually impaired, and just to, walk freely and not to get hit by something in the way, this belt can be used by visually impaired. This is also a working model. A basic functionality है इसमें, जहाँ पे sensors हैं and, belt के लिए cardboard use किया है. So just to test whether the product is right or not. Then validate the willingness to pay. Now, whether the consumers are willing to pay for your product or not. So how can we derive this? First, we need to see अब जो फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट्स हैं उसमें क्या करते हैं हम, कई बार आप देखते हो मॉल के बाहर भी कोई ड्रिंक्स, हेल्थ ड्रिंक्स या किसी आप बंडल करके प्रोडक्ट्स बेचे जाते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल 1+1 फ्री, और you sell a sample in the newspaper and see whether people are ready to pay for it or not. So in other way, these days we are going online and it is easier to test all this online. So we can just see here, I'm continuing with the example of neck massager, knead out knots. Okay, so here you can see the clicks are 119 and the cost or conversion rate in dollars you can see is 0. So here we can see again that nobody has actually bought this. Okay, so we'll have to scrap this prototype. ठीक है, जो वेबसाइट हमने बनाई, ये आइडिया किसी को, इसका मतलब जिस इतने इम्प्रेशंस थे 3656, आउट ऑफ विच 119 पीपल एक्चुअली क्लिक्ड इट एंड नोबडी कन्वर्टेड, नोबडी बॉट दिस, नोबडी एक्चुअली पेड फॉर दिस. ठीक है, सो दिस इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ validation of the pricing. Then basic rules of prototype testing. So quickly, from whatever we have discussed by far, we know that for testing, clear goals have to be specified, testing often and regular testing is the key. ठीक है, हम बार बार टेस्ट करें तो हम सही जगह पे पहुंच ही जाएंगे. So participants should also be asked to contribute their ideas. For instance, आप whosoever you are taking, whosoever's feedback, you can ask for further ideas. Test with the right people. Okay, test with the right people. For example, if you test a say energy drink on a person of 60 years of age, that might not be as useful. So right people for an energy drink might be sports person, might be youngsters. So test it with the right people. Be neutral when presenting your ideas, need not be very flamboyant about your ideas as to, you know, don't brag about your idea, just present your idea to your target market. Be open minded, accept communication, accept their feedback of the people who are testing your idea. Communicate the limitations, iterate, that means do it again and again. Okay, continuing with the same example. So as you can see, I talked about the robotic arm. Can you see the robotic arm here? I'm pointing it to on the screen
Yes,
also.
ma'am.
This is the robotic arm. And here on the chair, there's a computer. If you can see, there's a laptop. And this boy who's standing, this red means shoulder. So here this computer will pick signal for red means shoulder. So it will move the shoulder. Blue means elbow. So here the elbow movement is, they're using a software to identify these colors with the movement of this robotic arm. This is the working model, a prototype. ठीक है, ये एक वर्किंग मॉडल का एग्जाम्पल है विच आई जस्ट वांटेड टू शो. एंड ग्रीन इज फॉर हैंड. सो दिस सॉफ्टवेयर मैटलैब दे आर यूजिंग. अब ये इंजीनियरिंग साइड का है, बट आप लोग भी ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट्स या कोई काम ऐसा कर सकते हो जिसमें आप हेल्प लेके यू कैन ऑल्सो डिजाइन समथिंग विच विल सर्व सम प्रॉब्लम विच इज अनसॉल्व. जैसे यहाँ पे हम क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं कि एक रोबोटिक आर्म है जो हेवी वेट्स को भी लिफ्ट कर सकती है विच ह्यूमन आर्म कैन नॉट लिफ्ट. ठीक है, सो इट इज अ वेरी इनोवेटिव आइडिया एंड अ वेरी हेल्पफुल वर्किंग मॉडल. नाउ अनदर एग्जाम्पल, ये क्या एग्जाम्पल है, अब जैसे एम्बुलेंस, whenever the ambulance has to cross but the vehicles are there. For instance, this is the ambulance, okay, and the vehicles there is a red light, so it is difficult for the ambulance to go and accidents might increase because of this. So this is another working model which has been made by students of PEC. Now this model, what it does is it helps whenever the ambulance has to cross, the green light will be there. ठीक है, तो वर्किंग मॉडल का भी एक बार मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ ये किस तरह से है. Let me just show the video to you. ये देखो, it'll, I think it's not working. I'll show it to you. later. So let's continue. I think from the photo itself you can see that how this वीडियो में भी यही है, ये चीजें चल रही होती हैं. उसमें क्या कर रहे हैं हम, ट्रैफिक लाइट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. सो एक वर्किंग मॉडल है, आपको दिख रहा है कि ये व्हीकल्स बनाए हुए हैं, लाइट्स बनाई हुई हैं, जंक्चर बनाया हुआ है. तो इस तरह के मॉडल को हम प्रोटोटाइप कहते हैं. ठीक है. इज दैट क्लियर?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now converting prototype into a startup. This is what we want to learn, and that is why we are here today. So, first thing is the idea, moving on from idea to prototype to minimum viable product. Now, what is a minimum viable product? Okay, let us see minimum viable and product. That means giving minimum functionality. For example, this lamp. Okay, as you can see, this candle, it is also giving us light, but it is further it is developed to make it viable. As you can see here, the lamp, it is a lampshade is being made which is better than the first one. And third, we develop a bulb which is a minimum viable product, so where something tangible is there for the customers to touch, feel and use. Okay, so this is from prototype to minimum viable product to getting the feedback and ultimately developing the product. So now again I have few good examples for all of you. Groupon सुना है सबने? Groupon क्या करता है? Yes, anybody? सुना है Groupon?
No,
Yes?
ma'am.
नहीं सुना? ओके, ये ऑनलाइन वाउचर्स देते हैं. तो ये जो आपको स्क्रीन पे दिख रहा है, दिस इज अ प्रोटोटाइप वेबसाइट ऑफ ग्रुपॉन व्हेन इट फर्स्ट लॉन्च. नाउ ग्रुपॉन इज अ हिट, बट initially when they launched this basic website where they showed minimum pricing, minimum products, all this was shown. Okay, so this is an example of a prototype, a basic website. Next is Airbnb. Now ये तो सुना ही होगा आपने, Airbnb. Yes, anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so how did they start with the concept? They started out first at a conference, bed and breakfast. At a conference, 3 people, they had to travel and they had to stay. So for them, these people, they started off with this air bed and breakfast concept, and then in 2007, after that it has grown to a level where we all have somewhere or the other we have used Airbnb today. Okay, सो एक कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए कॉन्सेप्ट स्टार्ट हुआ था और ये इनकी बेसिक वेबसाइट है जो आप देख सकते हो. दिस इज अ प्रोटोटाइप, ये एक प्रोटोटाइप है. ठीक है, ये क्या है, एयर बेड एंड ब्रेकफास्ट की प्रोटोटाइप वेबसाइट है. सो these examples I'm showing just for you to know that you can also develop such websites. Such basic websites will help you develop a full blown website. Next, we have example of Uber. Now, Uber we all know and we have used also somewhere or the other. It started off with with Uber cab. ठीक है, उबर कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुई थी? उबर कैब से स्टार्ट हुई थी, और ये बेसिक ऐप है उबर कैब का जब ये इनिशियली स्टार्ट हुआ था. सो टैक्सी एग्रीगेटर सर्विस उबर, ट्रैवल्स and Cam, they started up with this idea and launched a beta version. So prototype is basically a beta version where you make a model just to test it. Okay, in 2009 it started, and in 2022 we all know, we all use Uber today, you know? So it is a hit, you know, because they did a launch, they tested it, they iterated, they made improvements, and ultimately it is a hit. Again, we have example of Dropbox. We know Dropbox. How many of you have used Dropbox? Yes?
We know
Nobody?
about
You know about it? Okay. Somewhere or the other, I have personally used Dropbox and I feel it is very convenient. Okay, so they also, when they launched it, they also developed with this video. I'll just see if I'm able to play it. If not, I'll forward the link to you. Okay, so ये जो वीडियो मैं आपको दिखा रही हूँ, ये इनकी प्रोटोटाइप वीडियो है जहाँ पे इन्होंने just to introduce the product and the concept, just to gather views whether the full blown launch will be useful or not. develop this. Okay. अच्छा, okay. Yes, students. Okay. 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 So I'm just sharing, students. Okay. Give me a minute. So can you see now, girls? अब मैंने आपके साथ वीडियो शेयर की है. जस्ट सी दिस वीडियो एंड एंजॉय द वीडियो एंड लेट मी नो. दिस इज अ प्रोटोटाइप वीडियो. ठीक है. लेट मी नो योर व्यूज whether you will invest in this product or not. If you are given an option to invest in this product, क्या आपको ये यूजफुल लग रहा है, क्या ये आइडिया आपको अच्छा लग रहा है. ठीक है. तो आप देखिए एंड लेट मी नो. ऑडिबल? ऑडिबल?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, just see. I hope it's visible. देख के भी आपको पता लग रहा है. Even if it's not audible, देख के भी आपको कॉन्सेप्ट की क्लैरिटी हो रही है कि क्या कर रहे हैं. See, this person has to go to Africa. Now this person has to carry all these things from the laptop. Okay. Now he has to transfer everything on his laptop, है ना. So what he is doing is he is transferring everything to Dropbox. ठीक है. आप एक ही जगह पर अपने सारे, you can carry it anywhere, wherever you want to go, you can carry it and you can carry it to any destination. Okay. See, even if the computer is ruined, even then all the files are safe. Okay. Okay. ठीक है. तो ये एक वीडियो है. आई जस्ट शोड इट. नेवर माइंड इफ यू वर नॉट एबल टू हियर इट. आई शेयर द लिंक एट द एंड विद यू. ठीक है. I'll share the link with you. Never mind if you were not able to hear it. That's not a problem. Just I want you to see the concept. The concept is very important because see, they have prepared a video. आजकल क्या करते हैं बच्चे, YouTube पे, Instagram पे भी अपनी वीडियो बनाते हैं. अगर कोई कॉन्सेप्ट है वो इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं, दिखाते हैं, शोकेस करते हैं. So these videos, these prototypes are also examples of working models where you can show how your product works before full blown launch. ठीक है. तो ये एक एग्जाम्पल था. आई होप यू एंजॉयड दिस एग्जाम्पल. The next is Spotify. Spotify भी एक ऐसा एग्जाम्पल है. I hope you all must have heard about it. Yes, use kiya hai
Yes, ma'am.
Spotify. I personally have used it and I felt it's very convenient. Even the free version of Spotify, it's very convenient to have the playlist all at one place. ठीक है. So Spotify का भी एक version था जो उन्होंने full blown launch से पहले launch किया था. Okay, so that was called the freemium model, free premium model. Okay, so again Spotify now in 2020 it had 130 million premium subscribers, so that was a hit. So this conveys to us that whenever we develop a model and test it properly, then the ultimate product which we'll get, the ultimate enterprise that we'll get will be a success. Okay, so now moving on to converting prototype into a startup. Now, as we did in our initial slides, first developing the model, then developing a prototype, and then actually seeing that what are the views of the customers, of the uh, people on whom you are testing that idea, whether that idea will work or not, whether it is workable or not. So you need funding for that. जैसे आप शार्क टैंक में भी देखते थे, कई लोग आते थे जिनको फंडिंग चाहिए होती थी. ठीक है. आजकल आइडियाज बहुत ideas are there, but good ideas are very less because there is a lot of competition. So you have to find that good idea, the best idea, and get funding for it. So availing funding is not difficult these days, but to avail funding you need to have that idea. So to get seed funding, for seed funding is the basic funding. Just when you sow the seed, the plant will grow. Similarly, when you have this basic funding for your venture, you will start your venture. So if anyone can see how your idea will work, they will invest in it. For example, you go on buying on Myntra or Amazon. Whether will you buy a dress on Myntra without seeing it? खरीदोगे?
No, ma'am.
नहीं खरीदते हम एक बेसिक से कपड़ा भी खरीदने के लिए उसको देखना चाहते हैं. कई बार हम उसे we order it, we try it, and then we return it because after seeing we don't like it. So seeing it, touching it, seeing the functionality of the product is very important. So for the investor also, how can you expect that without seeing the product, without seeing the idea, without seeing the functioning of that idea, the investor will invest in that idea? So Amazon, Myntra, they have images for that those are models that they have made. Taking a test drive before buying a car is also shows that people don't buy right away. Okay, they need to see whether it's working or not. Testing lotions are there which we test before buying. So for an investor or a shareholder to identify your idea, he or she has to see the functionality of that idea. Next is, it takes money to build a prototype, but you need a prototype in order to raise money. Now, why I'm talking about funding is because a very important aspect to convert your prototype into a startup is funding. ठीक है. हमारे पास मॉडल भी हम बना लेते हैं, लेकिन उसको फुल ब्लोन लॉन्च के लिए हमें फंड्स चाहिए. सो फॉर फंडिंग देयर आर वेरियस कंपनीज, वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट आर देयर, angel investors are there, private equity investors are there. For example, whatever we saw in Shark Tank, these are investors who are ready to invest in your business if you have a good idea. So that's the beauty of it. So you need a prototype in order to raise money. Okay, so getting seed funding through a prototype. Seed funding is the basic funding. You need to sell your idea. For selling your idea, you need to demonstrate your idea. Okay, how will you demonstrate your idea? So you will demonstrate by showing the functionality. As you can see, whether that model is working or not, the functional prototype. So from maybe to definitely, that means maybe the things would work like this, to definitely it will work like this. Showing the buyer, showing the investor that it is working. Okay. Creating a functional prototype is a huge indicator that you are fully dedicated to this opportunity. Okay. So the investor will also see that yes, you are serious about this idea if you have a functional prototype. Ask your friends, family, test and test. हम क्या करते हैं, हमें we need to gather the feedback of our family first. whenever we develop an app, then our friends, then our relatives, and then ultimately to outsiders. Okay, so as you continue to get feedback, it is better for you to avail seed funding. So this is a survey which was conducted, which also shows that it helps prototypes, helps get, say 47% of the people said that prototypes helps get investors to fund a startup. Another question which also said that prototype are important to investors, 38% said that yes, it is important. Another question says that in availing the first round funding, first round funding is after the basic funding you have first round funding. So here also validated prototype, 36% people say that a validated prototype helps you collect first round of funding. Also, another, if the question is put in a different way, that what is the attribute which leads to failure in availing funding, that is no, not a validated prototype. If you don't have a validated prototype, you will ultimately might not get the required funding. So another example I have, before doing this example, I'll quickly discuss the exam with you how Shopify, you can create your account on Shopify and create a prototype website. I hope you can see my screen. दिख रहा है Shopify?
Yes, ma'am.
आपने अभी तक देख लिया कि हम एक अपना प्रोटोटाइप, आजकल क्या होता है कि जैसे नायका ने स्टार्ट किया था, सो नायका स्टार्टेड इट्स वेंचर ऑनलाइन ओनली फर्स्ट. सो here for creating an online venture you just need to create your website. So there's this website Shopify. I hope all of you are aware about it. So there's this try for free for 14 days. First you can do this. If you don't want to buy the premium version first, you can try for free if it is serving your purpose. If you scroll down, there are templates for every, for example, for food and drink, there's a template that they have. For jewelry business, they have electronics, fashion. Okay. Also, if you scroll further, you can see that the expert advice can also be available. See, browse experts in India. So if you click this, you can also see that there is a whole range of experts. Say, can you see? These are companies who are experts who provide, who develop your app, who will design your website on charging a certain fee. So you can see for yourself, you can contact these experts and you can avail their services. So it's so simple these days. So that's how I said it has become really simple. You can design your apps also using the experts' help. Is it clear, girls? Okay, so now
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
move on to my presentation. Okay, now another example is of boat. Boat, everybody has heard? Boat. Aman
Yes,
Gupta
ma'am.
was there in Shark Tank. He's one of the co-founders of Boat. The company has done exceptionally well. The company has done exceptionally well because since 2016, when it started first, and now it has went on to become one of the largest in the world. See, it's the fifth largest wearable global brand now. Okay, and number one in India. Also this year, this startup has been awarded outstanding startup of the year by Forbes India. Okay, so this is a good idea and how they have targeted the in the right way. So as you can see, Boat has also raised series of funding. See, this is Fireside Ventures ने इसमें इन्वेस्ट किया. फायरसाइड वेंचर्स भी वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट हैं. इनका इन कंपनीज का काम ही यही है that they just invest in good ideas. Okay, Warburg has also invested $100 million in the company. So here also you can see since 2018 they have been raising 60 million, 200 million and so on from various investors here, as you can see. So these days, as I said, availing the funding is not difficult. If you have a good idea, you'll have the funds because there are investors out there, there are people out there who are ready to fund your idea. So this is an example of a website, Fireside Ventures. It is a Mumbai-based venture who are private equity investors. Their job is to just identify good ideas and invest in them. Okay. So Other examples of seed funds which have been started by the government of India: Startup India Seed Fund, 126 crore seed fund is there. You can avail funding under this also. Amazon has also started a seed fund of $250 million in India. Okay, so such examples. This is another example of Haldiram's, who has invested in another startup. Okay, so these were examples which show that funding is not a problem if you have a winning idea. As you can see here, see, it's written, there's no shortage of funds for winning ideas in the new year. So if you have a winning idea, there's no shortage of funds. So now I'm coming to a very interesting example. All of us have heard about Nika. So as you can see here, can you see this table downside? Journey begins. So Nika started its journey in 2012. 2012 it started, and with a seed fund of only rupees 10 lakh. You can see here the seed fund with which Nika started its business was just 10 lakh rupees, and it was just raised by Falguni Nair from her family. See, you can see Om Prakash Nair, and this is just family members who contributed 10 lakh rupees. From this 10 lakh funding, further angel investors were approached for availing further funds of say 20 crore in 2014, then another 500 crores, and the share price also, you can see, from 10 rupee per share, the share price has risen to 6,000, more than 6,000 rupees. And we also know that how the IPO of Nika did. It did exceptionally well on the stock exchange. So as you can see, 10 रुपए का शेयर जो आज की डेट में 6,000 का है ना? So it shows the journey. It was just a venture which was started by family. Online business, एक बस cosmetics का brand, and there are n number of cosmetic brands. But why did this business do so well? Because they identified in the right way. They approached the market. They built just a website first, and they tested. They catered to the customers through that website, and further raised the funding and reached where they are today. So it is a good example for us to emulate. Okay, we can also do likewise. Next is, what is the Indian scenario today? As I said, venture capitalists investments have been increasing in India from 2020 quarter one. In 2022, $10.5 billion. See, you can see this is a rising graph from 2020 to 2022. So this I'm showing just to make you understand that अगर आपके पास कोई idea है तो funding की कोई problem नहीं है आजकल. Okay, so funding will be available if you have a good idea. So as you can see, the graph of investments, it has almost more than doubled since 2020. Okay, so there are venture capitalists who identify the right venture and invest in that. See, this is another example of unicorns in India. As you can see, it is a very good figure that India is fourth in the world in terms of unicorns. Unicorns, I think you must be knowing, but I'm just repeating for the purpose if any student does not know. These are companies whose market valuation has touched or exceeded the $1 billion mark. So India is also a leading country in terms of unicorns. Okay, it ranks fourth in the world. This data is very recent, 2022 का आपको quarter one March ending का सारा data है. So you can clearly see these are the businesses which have made big in this quarter. So this is also interesting to know. Okay, now what does this figure show you? Always remember, beauty lies in the eyes of the shareholder. If you have a winning idea, one or the other investor will identify your idea and invest in your product. ठीक है, तो आजकल idea होना important है. ठीक है, what you need to think is a good idea. Okay, that is the important. So if you have a good idea, you will get the investors to invest in that idea. So what did we learn today? First is idea generation. From the idea, how you go on to develop the prototype. From the prototype, you test that prototype, which is called prototype validation. You get funding for that prototype, and thereafter you launch your business. Launching your business and funding is when that good one shareholder, अब जैसे नाइका का हमने एग्जाम्पल डिस्कस किया, फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली से पैसे लेकर स्टार्ट किया बिजनेस. नाउ टुडे इट इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कंपनीज इन इंडिया. ओके, so that is the beauty of an idea. So now finally, what do we gather from today's website? Yes, if we want to do something, we will achieve provided we try until we succeed. Okay, so test the product, test the idea until you get the right idea, right product, right feedback. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. Any doubts, anybody? Yes, any doubts, anybody? Girls, were you able to understand the concept of prototype validation? Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Shafila ma'am, for nice comments in the comments box. You can also write your comments, and please, everybody, don't leave without marking your attendance. And your participation has been important for us.
Thank you, Dr. Manika Kohli.
Thank you, ma'am.
Honorable Dr. Nisha Bhargava, President of IIC and Principal, Dr. Manika Kohli, our valued resource person, faculty and students. I feel honored and privileged to get an opportunity to propose a formal vote of thanks for this webinar. I, on behalf of IIC, convey deep regards and hearty thanks to Honorable Dr. Manika Kohli for sharing his views on converting prototype into a startup. We are immensely benefited by your knowledgeable session. Your various examples and case studies must have made the concepts more clear to the audience. I'm extremely thankful to Dr. Nisha Bhargava for giving constant support and encouragement in arranging such sessions. I also express my sincere and special thanks to organizing team, Mrs. Poonam, Dr. Ritika, Ms. Manmeet, and Ms. Sandeep for giving proper covering to this event through your group photographs, recording of this session, etc. I'm also grateful to all teacher members for encouraging students to join such sessions. I put on record my special thanks to students and teachers present for the successful culmination of this webinar cum workshop. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, dear students. Thank you for your active participation and willing support. Thank you. You can leave now. Thank you, students. Please do mark your attendance before leaving.